All right, so we're going to start with the injury report, and it's actually we're in a good place right now. Tana's still out for a little bit longer. Brett Scyther is out for the game, and then Savion Riley still and Chad Alexander still. We talked about those, but we are almost full force right now, as healthy as we've been all season. And credit to the training staff and the strength staff and the players for the the time they spend in the training room and getting themselves ready to go to be this full force going into fifth straight game and being the first conference game on the road. And big challenge for us, biggest one of the year to this point. And hopefully we can continually say that every single game, because they are. This is the first ACC road game for us. We've been at home for 3 straight weeks, so to be able to get on the road and go through all those things and the challenges that come with going on the road. It's an early game. 48 hours from now, we'll be kicking off, and there's a chance of some weather. We could have some delays. I mean, it's nothing we hadn't gone through. So, any challenges that present themselves, we've got to be ready for and be prepared for. And we've had a really good week of practice. Excited to see these guys go out and play on Saturday.
Questions? Chad?
I'll start, yeah. I wanted to ask you about special teams, and you guys have brought out the helmet decals. Just kind of the genesis of that and how much competition has that created?
Yeah. Did we talk about that a little bit a couple weeks ago? Was it? Okay. Yeah, so really been pleased with our special teams at this point, right? We had a really good week of practice again, working on things we had to improve on, things we weren't doing to the standard that we want them done at, adding things, adding some wrinkles. The volume we're carrying right now is increasing every week, which is a credit to the coaches, but also to the players and their buy-in to it. And because of their buy-in, we've created a little bit of a special club for them to be in. And you've got the original name of Georgia Tech was the Blacksmiths, right? Being an industrial, forging place, and I thought that was a good name for the guys that are on 2 or more teams. And then you have the Hammers, right? And the Hammers are the guys that start on 4 or more, the 4 core teams. And then we have a couple guys that are on 5, 6 teams. Will Kiker, Chris Elko, Dalen Gordon, and Little Miller Forstall. So Miles Forstall. Those guys have done a tremendous job. Tremendous job. I made a point to the team on Sunday. We're trying to play a lot of guys on both sides of the football. Some of our guys that are considered starters or very productive players, they're playing around some 27, 30 plays a game. Will Kiker's playing. Will Kiker played 29 plays on special teams alone, plus 12 on defense last week. The other guys were at like 26, 27 plays. Right, that's a lot of football game. That's as much as anybody else. So the impact they have on the game is tremendous. But the buy-in that these guys have had of impacting the game is what's been even more fun. I'm a big believer that the toughness of your team. One of the key areas you define the toughness of your football team when you turn the tape on is how you cover kicks, right, and how you rush on PAT field goal. That is a core value of mine and a core belief of mine. And when you turn the tape on, if you were to watch those 2 things in the very beginning, I think everyone would see the same thing that I see. So I've been very proud of those guys. Huge credit to Tim Salem, Brendan Farrell, the job that they're doing. Tim is you look up the definition of ball coach. Right, Tim Salem is there from the first thing in the morning when he's blowing that whistle through the locker room, getting everybody rolling into the special teams meeting. I mean, you can imagine what it's like, the energy that he has. He's got a birthday next week that I think you might believe how old he actually is. I think he's turning 45, 46, but he's coached too much ball to be that age. And then, the job that Farrell's done, with special teams, the amount of special teams coaching experience that he's had. We were together the whole time in Tuscaloosa. I think he was there 6 years. Then the last 5 or 6 years with the Dolphins. He's an encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to the game of football. Been a tremendous help with me with game management, organization, things that we study during the week. Me and in the past it was me and Pat. Now it's me, Pat, and Brendan. And then being able to converse on the sidelines with different situations and different ways to play different situations and the impact special teams can have on those situations has been really big. And Brendan's been able to connect all that together for us. So I've been really pleased with those guys. Can't thank them enough for the job they're doing.
I wanted to ask you about two of your freshman defensive ends, Christian Garrett, who's done a really nice job for you, and then Dre, who missed a game last week, but has started the first 3 games for you, and just kind of how they're coming
Should I
along.
say available for him?
Just curious, like how they're coming along and what you've seen from them, and then obviously Christian seems like a guy who's been really effective for you guys.
Yeah, he has. I mean, he's a really good football player. Got a long way to go. Christian, he's big, he's strong, he's fast. Same with Dre. But like all freshmen, playing on the line of scrimmage, they're in there playing, sometimes 15, 20 plays, sometimes it's 30, 40 plays, depending on really what we're in. But they're developing every week, they're improving every week. You still see them play high and try to peek and see what's going on. And Christian had a couple last week where his eyes got out of place, where some of the quarterback things, and he's perfect. He's in perfect position, and takes the cheese and goes in. That's what freshmen. That's why we play these guys. Right? That's why we're playing them. Right? Because hopefully they won't make those mistakes again. But I've been very encouraged with the development of those young guys. Montre, I know he's a second-year player. Jordan Boyd's second year, but Montre has made so much improvement. I mean, he's a little different too, because he, so many guys come in January. He came in the summer last year. So really, when you look at him and Christian, or him and Dre, they're really only about 6 months apart from the time they've been here. So you can almost throw those guys in the freshman group as well that got here in the summertime.
Just what have you seen from Harrison, just as he stepped into kind of the full-time center role here, just in the wake of the injury to Tana, but and then just the rest of the offensive line. Just what have you seen from them?
Yeah, I've been. I think Harrison's in a good place from a mental standpoint. That's a big mental position. Getting the reps and improving things. He's very conscientious about things that he doesn't do well. No different than the quarterback. I've met with him. I meet with him on Wednesdays after practice. He's the guy we sit down about 15, 20 minutes and just talk about everything. He's very aware, and I think that's an important thing to have for that position. He can come in and say, man, I didn't do this well. I've got to improve on this, or how do I work on this? The big thing for center is other guys have to believe in him. Whether they make the right call or the wrong call. It can't be somebody they don't believe in. And no, that's not what it's supposed to be. Because everybody's got to be on the same page. I think we're progressing on the O-line. I think we are improving. We've got things we've got to get better at for sure. That is very, very evident. But I think they're making progress each week. And we've got to make progress this week. We got a really big challenge for us this week with the guys we're going against and the structure of the schemes that they play. And we got to be able to establish the line of scrimmage, both run and pass, keep the quarterback clean, be able to make adjustments. So I think they've done a good job. And I think as we continue to play and continue to move on the season, I'm looking for them to improve and be an even better job.
You have coached at some places and had a lot of success, even as a player, where you've had runs where you're winning a lot of games and trying to manage outside noise and things like that. What are maybe like 1 or 2 things you learned along the way that you're trying to stress to your team as you guys continue to have success and the noise gets louder on the outside of the program?
I mean, I don't hear noise. It all sounds the same to me. Whether it's good or bad, it's still stuff that's going to influence you. I think standing in front of the team and telling them, hey, don't listen to the outside. Don't listen to anything external. Okay, sure. Now, you tell them not to pay attention to it, but there's not a person in the world that doesn't hear something that goes on outside of their existence unless they're just a recluse that lives under a bridge or something maybe. You're going to hear things, but when we first started out training camp, we talked about building trust between players and coaches. I think that's the big thing. If they trust the coaches, if the coaches trust the players, right, they're going to listen to what their coaches say. Right? Yeah, they're going to get, told how great they are by this person and that person, but that same person that's telling them that is going to be twice as hard on them on the way down. But not to listen to it, you earn these positions. You earn the right to be in a position like this. Enjoy the way it feels. Right? That's something that should motivate players and should motivate coaches and motivate people to stay in the position they're in. When things are good, well, enjoy what it feels like. Don't lose it. It's another motivating factor.
Coach, just a question about just the running game, how it's just kind of come along. Top 15 unit, just what is your thoughts on just the progression? Obviously, you use a great stable of backs, but just how it's coming along with the offensive line and everything.
Yeah, well, we got a ways to go still. Ways to go. I mean, we've got some really talented skill guys that are, making some guys miss in the hole, bouncing things, to guys when they lose contain, they bounce some things. I think we've done an okay job of establishing it between tackle to tackle. A lot of improvement can be there. Nature of what we do, they got to be good with their eyes as far as knowing where they're going. Those guys, they're not just going to sit still the whole, on the defensive side. They're going to be moving. We motion and shift and move so much. And you got to be dialed in. I mean, the key to it is we don't do a whole lot on offense. I know it looks like we do, but what those 5 guys up front have to do is the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And that's what I believe in. I believe in, tell them once, show them once, and make them do it 1,000 times until they get it right. And, as those reps start to bank with those guys and, say 2 people are pulling, right? Understanding how they're going to play that block for you to either get around it or get inside of it. Just little things like that come with experience playing together. But each week the road's going to get harder. People are going to key into your tendencies and what you do and different things. So, right, what might be good in the first third of the season might not be that way in the middle third of the season or the final third of the season. Things you aren't doing well, I always talk about you have to improve on. All right, but while you're improving on those things, you can't lose sight of the things you are doing well. I hope to see us make improvement. I do. I don't look at stats or numbers. I look at the film.
The linebacker position, it seemed like they had probably their best game as a group against Temple last week. How have you kind of evaluated what Coach Eubanks is doing there and how they're progressing as the season goes along? Obviously, Tajay kind of had his first big game, playing the most snaps of his career as well.
Yeah, I was pleased with the players we brought in and the guys that were here that have developed. I think Kyle's playing as good a football as he's played. I really do. And is that different coaching? Is being a year older? Yeah, all those things are involved, but it's having other good players in there and being able to play 35 plays a game instead of 65 plays a game. It's a big difference. Being able to have different packages with different guys, right, that's a big deal. EJ, he's as solid as they come inside. Nature of his position, you're not going to see a bunch of big stat things by his name, right? But whether it's him or Kyle, whichever one's in there, I mean, those guys are running the show, getting people aligned. Tajay, man, I'm proud of him. So proud of him. I mean, he's a guy that has a lot of talent. Probably got a little big in the offseason. He was up in the mid-230s, close to 240 almost. And now that he's come back down a little bit in his weight, he went out there and took his opportunity and really showed and showed what he can do. Showed what he can do when the lights are on. And he's earned his opportunity to play more and more, and that's why you do it.
Chad.
New kickoff, ACC road game, weather kind of dreary, family weekend up there. I would imagine critical. First fast start's very critical, and then maintaining that energy throughout will be critical. Yeah.
Yeah. How about a fast start in the second quarter? How about a fast start in the second half? Yeah. How about every play we fast start? Maintain. I mean, any game you got to maintain your energy and it's the focus. Energy can be twisted 2 different ways. I mean, I don't want a bunch of cheerleaders running up and down the sideline wearing football helmets. I want those with pom-poms on the side, cheering them on. I don't need fake energy. Right? I need real energy that comes from the focus and the discipline they have, wanting to go be able to compete for 3.5 hours in a football game. Right?
Coach, we've talked a lot about explosiveness this week, whether it's your offense or it's the Wake Forest offense. What have you seen from them on film? I know you talked about 10, but as far as one, the running back coming into this game.
Yeah, I mean, talked about both those guys the other day. It's not just those two. Number 4, wide receiver, the tight end. They can make plays in the underneath passing game. I think they have a big offensive line that's come together well in the early, first 3-4 weeks of the season. But that running back he can take it the distance from anywhere. I mean, he'll if you don't play responsibility with what you do, if you don't set your edges, have contained elements in the defense, and be able to anchor down and not get widened, out of there. I mean, he'll bounce it and see, very similar to Malachi's run last week. That he ended up, I think Malachi had one, and I think Jamal both had one where they ended up bouncing and cutting it back against the grain. All right, well, that's how teams over pursue. They don't maintain their elements and their contained elements. We can't do that. All right, we got to have 11 hats on the ball, but also being where they're supposed to be. And then that receiver can roll. He can roll. I mean, they'll use him on jet sweeps. They'll set him up to take the top off the defense. And, getting a lot of condensed sets. Getting the condensed sets to run tempo fastball plays, to run regular tempo plays. Condense everybody in to spit the ball out on the perimeter, whether it be a read toss play or a fast motion jet sweep. But they've also had 16 days off. So everything we watch on tape, right? I mean, that's what you do in bye weeks. You check your tendencies. You try to break tendencies. He's been a jet sweep guy going. I mean, don't be surprised you see him going. The receiver going a jet sweep and throw the deep shot to somebody else. I mean, just things like that. But now they've got good skill talent on that offensive side that's scary when you look at it. I mean, anybody that runs 10-2-7, whether returning kicks, all right, getting jet sweeps or taking the top off the defense or catching a 5-yard hitch and turning and making one person miss. So we got to make sure we know where those guys are.
So, Coach, back to kind of the fast starts, right? So, obviously, throughout the game, you'll have the lows or the slow moments. Is there anything as a coach that you do or you say just to the team to kind of get them to refocus, a moment you turn to, adversity hits? What do you usually do in those moments to kind of recalibrate the team?
I mean, it's different every game. I mean, look, you have to understand why things happen, too. And is it focused by everyone? Is it focused by one? Is it focused by every play? Is it one play? Look, I don't think anybody in here would say Malik Rutherford didn't have a good football game last week, right? Well, what happened on the play when he dropped the ball? Do you want me to go jump his butt right there on the sideline and go tell him he's horrible? No, he didn't try to drop it. He momentarily lost focus. Right? Probably was trying to think about making a play because the play before something bad probably happened, right? So now he's probably thinking about turning and running with the football and making somebody miss and making a big play as opposed to just catching the ball. All right? Just do your jobs. Everybody do your job. Everybody tries, comes out and, I was trying to make a play. I want to make a play. How about we do our job? Right? A lot of times you just got to be reminded of that. A lot of times the guys, I mean, these kids will carry something on from one play to the next. Hey, snap out of it, next play. Right? I'm a believer that you have Sunday to Friday to coach these guys on the field, to get after them, right? To motivate them. And when Saturday comes, right, I'm not about this going and chewing somebody's ass out because they made a mistake. Right? You're going to get the wrong reaction from that. Right? Most of the time, you're going to get the wrong reaction. These guys aren't trying to make mistakes. Okay? So when one occurs, you got to coach them through it. The guy drops the ball. Catch the ball. Well, no joke. Tell him how. Tell him what he did wrong. That's coaching. That's teaching. That's inspiring learning. Inspiring people to get better.
Anything else? Coach?
You guys have had some nice plays wired for Eric Rivers, and for whatever different reasons they haven't connected, but you've had these different shots. You've hit on, I think, one of maybe like the 6 that you guys have had wired up pretty well.
Another stat guy.
Is there anything in particular you're seeing that's maybe causing those plays not to connect, or how close
These
is it?
questions today, guys. I mean,
How close, I guess, are you to
well,
turn
I don't know.
the
It looked
corner?
about 3 feet the other day. It's about 3 feet, about 36 inches. I mean, Haynes dropped back foot caught in the grass or in the turf, slipped his back foot, has to regather himself. All right. Well, now you're not able to transfer your weight and put it all the way. All right. Throws it. The ball's about that far away from him, probably 2 feet. All right. The other one was a 50-50 ball up in the air. All right. So maybe the backside, whatever blocker, didn't have his hat on the inside. It was on the outside, and the guy, got underneath him and caused the throw to be, 18 inches off, 24 inches off. There's a lot of things that can factor into it, right? So how do you increase your odds? You throw more of them. You throw more of them. You give more opportunity. All right. So that's the way I look at it. That's why they're 50-50 balls. I don't think it's been 50-50 one time in the history of college football. 50% of the time the defense, no, it doesn't happen. They're more like 80-20 balls, 70-30 balls maybe. Right? Depends on if our defense or offense is out there. Right?
Chad, do you want to wrap this up?
One more. I'll end on something positive for you.
What are you talking about? That's a half-empty mindset to say positive.
I'm always half full. How excited were you to see Dalen Gordon find the end zone on Saturday?
He was so excited coming off the field. I'm trying to get to him first. Well, the whole team's trying to get to him. I mean, it was probably 20 people trying to congratulate him. Draw up what Georgia Tech football is. Write down a definition of what Georgia Tech football is. A player that represents everything about Georgia Tech, the school, the students here, the success that these students have while they're in school and when they're out of school, the football team, hard work, toughness, discipline, you name it. DG is the definition of it. I'm glad he's on this team, and he's somebody who's going to be – his ceiling in life, you can't even see it. You talk about successful. DG is going to be as successful as anybody that's come through this place.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, y'all. Go Jackets.
Appreciate you, Coach. We have a proposal for you.